More than 6 million people across 860,000 businesses are now on JobKeeper payments. But despite the government's hefty package, a lot of jobs may not be there when JobKeeper ends. To talk more about this, I'm joined by businessman Mark Bouris. Now, Mark, thank you so much for joining the latest.
Hey, Michael.
Now, the JobKeeper, I'd be interested in your view on this. JobKeeper, is it enough to help most businesses, or is it just keeping some of the struggling, or what some have labelled zombie businesses, afloat? What do you think?
I mean, I think the zombie definition is unfair because that sort of suggests that people are completely dead. If you're down by 30% in terms of your projected revenues or your revenues year on year at a particular time, then you're entitled to it. So that's not a zombie business. But that 30% is a critical number. 30% is a critical part of your revenue, which is usually your profit. So therefore, JobKeeper, I think, is an extraordinarily important initiative.
Yeah, what do you think the government should do here? Should they remove JobKeeper before September or perhaps extend it? I know the government said that they won't, but what should they be looking at here?
My gut feeling is that the government will extend it, but for specified industries. So the ABS came out with some stats the last couple of days talking about those industries where the unemployment is most heavily affected, and by region, by age and by industry. My feeling is that the government might bring in some sort of hybrid of JobKeeper specifically for certain types of industries to make sure we don't fall too much flat on our face when it comes to that unemployment number come 3 months from now.
Yesterday, Mark, the federal court redefined what constitutes a casual worker, meaning that casuals who work regular roster days are now entitled to paid leave. Is that going to change how businesses hire?
Well, it's a bit unfortunate because those businesses who have been hiring these casual employees have been paying a loading on top of what those employees ordinarily get if you were a full-time employee. And that loading is there to compensate for things like annual leave, etc., sick leave, those sorts of things. Now, all of a sudden, as a result of that court decision, it looks as though those particular businesses might be up for a bigger payment to be made. So it's a problem. It's a major problem. And therefore, depending on how the government intercede, if at all, I think the way people hire casuals versus permanent part-time or permanent people will change for sure.
It's been interesting with a lot of people working from home. I mean, there's some Australians pushing for the government to keep the 4-day working week and free childcare. New Zealand's Prime Minister has also flagged the idea of a permanent 4-day working week. Would that be sustainable or possible?
We're finding our staff largely like to work from home, but they are also telling us that they don't have any travel time. Therefore, they've got much more time during a particular day to do the same amount of work as they were doing when they would come into the office. If you travel 1 hour a day, just for argument's sake, you're going to save 5 hours a week. So it's not much of a stretch to say, how can I save 1 day a week and put it into my own bank account? Happy employees is where we want to be. If an employee's happy, you're going to get a better outcome.
I mean, through your mentored program, you teach people how to run a successful business through that. Have you changed the advice that you're giving people at the moment, given what we've just been through? We're
now talking about building your own work environment and your workplace behaviours around what works best for your employees and your contractors and just basically every colleague in your business. A happy business is a really happy place to be, and you get much more productivity, which is what the government's been trying to get from us for a long time.
Before we went into this crisis, households apparently were stretched anyway. Credit card debt, high cost of living expenses. Where do people land in 3 months' time, do you think?
I see a recession. I feel as though there's going to be a major drop-off in GDP. I feel as though there's going to be banks having to make serious decisions about who they collect from, who they manage out, and who they keep on their books. I feel like a lot of landlords are going to be in trouble. They're going to have to try and work out how they're going to collect money, all of which points to one thing: the government must intercede.
All right. Really good to talk to you. Love your analysis too. So, Mark Bouris, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Michael.